to lose every single one of his takes. Pro speak, but with the SCVs coming at the perfect moment here.
Welcome back to the 2013 MLG Spring Championship. We are here on the StarCraft 2 stage for the final match of day number 1. It is going to be EG's InControl taking on Mao's Illusion. I'm DJ Wheat.
I'm Axel Sauce. Good to be here casting with you.
What's up, man?
This evening.
Good to cast you on the final match.
I know.
Night. Yeah.
Better late than never.
That's right.
And shout out to the crowd for still being here.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. And you know what? The thing about Major League Gaming, there's so many games everywhere. So I want to encourage you guys, too, to go check out League of Legends. I know everyone's like face-palming. Axel Toss, why are you mentioning League of Legends? You can go check out Call of Duty. A lot of cool stuff. And again, while you're over there, this is my plan. See, y'all didn't think I was going to say this, but you talk to them, and you say StarCraft 2 is awesome. You make friends, and you say, hey, let's go watch StarCraft 2.
See?
Yeah?
I don't see them actually moving to do it, but they liked your idea.
I think it's a good plan.
That's the important part.
Yeah. All right, so we got a promo to show y'all. Yeah. Gunners is having a nice little sale. 15% off Gunners plus free U.S. shipping. Use code MLG Anaheim. A lot of pretty colors down there. Neptune. Wow, look at those names. Onyx, Neptune, Heat, and Mercury.
Do you know the best pair of Gunners I own is
it.
actually the 3D Gunners?
No.
I would like to use this opportunity for anyone who likes 3D movies.
Whoa.
You know, they give you those crappy, like, real 3D, they flimsy, they suck.
Yeah, they're not that stylish.
Gunner actually makes glasses specifically for 3D theaters.
Yeah.
And they are freaking amazing, like unbelievable. And I see a lot of 3D movies, so anyway, if you're interested.
Like, if you're gonna take a suggestion on glasses, this is the guy you listen to. He is the guy.
Yeah.
He can pull off glasses.
Yeah.
And he can put them on too. It's great.
Yep.
That's
awesome.
True. All right, so I think we have StarCraft to watch, maybe.
We do. The final game of the day, we've got EG InControl taking on Mao's Illusion. We had an interview with him early on, and you know, like Jeff says, you know, pretty much how he feels, where he feels his game is, what he would like to do, and he did say, hey, I'd like to try to beat Illusion here. I'm sure every player is obviously trying to do, but you know, Illusion, he is a player that started off so strong. He you know, had gone through a couple of different teams.
Yep.
And you know, where's he been lately? Right? I mean, like, we haven't necessarily seen him making those same big splashes that really put his name on the map early on.
Yeah, and Illusion's a guy who actually went over to Korea and played in a pro house environment there. You know, whatever schedule they do. He stayed at the Startail house for a good amount of time when he was on Quantic. So he has that experience. Of course, that was leading up to the 2012 Blizzard World Championships last year. So this guy has been in that pro house environment, also a very young player. He's one of those North Americans that he kind of started playing very young, you know, a very young person, and he got an invite to IEM. This is a long time ago, and he had to say, you know what, school, I got to take a little bit of a break. I know he had some trouble explaining to his teachers exactly what it is that he was doing, understandably in a sense, but he's one of those guys that has that experience and can take a game off of anyone. He can make those runs in tournaments.
We've seen him do that, you know, before. You know, it's happened. So we're going on to Neo Planet S, ladies and gentlemen, to kick off our final match of the day, a best of 3. Don't forget, we've got action all weekend long, so you can get some rest tonight and wake up bright and early for the remainder of round 2 into round 3. Let's go ahead and introduce our players.
Beginning with the bottom left-hand location, I present to you your red Terran player representing Team Mouse Sports. He is Illusion.
Pausing just to make sure that the observer gets that perfect shot of his command center.
It's the freeze frame that you want. That's going to be featured in the sports centers everywhere.
And of course, you know, one of Illusion, as you mentioned, one of the youngest members of the North American StarCraft 2 scene.
Yeah.
And certainly a lot of talent. And there we go. We're coming right back into it in the northeast position as the blue Protoss. From Team Evil Geniuses, give it up for InControl. You know, InControl, like, man, he's wearing a lot of hats these days. You know, he said that as he makes the transition from sort of from player to caster, he's also been doing a lot of stuff with shows. And you know, the one thing he immediately misses is, of course, playing. I mean, he still streams and practices quite a bit, but I understand that. Like, I'm sure each and every person in this room, they they play StarCraft because they love that competition, or maybe they just play games in general because they love that fire, that competition, and you could see it in InControl all the time, and I don't blame it. You know, I'm the same way. Like, competition fuels you, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, playing the game is what most of us start doing in the beginning, and we never lose that competitive drive to really, go for it in these tournaments. I mean, look at Coach Park as an example. He's coaching. He's got to making a fine living, doing whatever he does in esports. Obviously, coaching the best players in the world, but he's very willing to go play in these open bracket events and see how he can do it. It's really exciting to see this happen. Of course, InControl, a guy, again, he can take a match off of anyone, looking to make a deep run. And honestly, historically, he's been one of those guys who has been able to get pretty far in open brackets. So I know a lot of people are really excited to see how he does here today.
Yeah, and things only get nastier after this round as well. So
and Illusion is not a simple hurdle to leap over.
Yeah. So, all right, we're taking a look at what we've got earlier. Yeah. We did see Mao's Illusion, of course, start with that gas. He put 3 in originally, and now dropped it down to 2. That first Reaper is going to be coming out. And what do we have, Proxy?
That's the second pylon. That's the second pylon. Generally, when you go for a Proxy Stargate, which this is almost certainly a Proxy Stargate, you do it with your third pylon. So InControl using it with his second, not only is this kind of obvious, because the SCV from Illusion right now, he's looking for a pylon. He's like, okay, where's your second pylon? Where's your second pylon? Oh, there's one. Where's the other? Well, I can't find it. So this is something Illusion should know is coming pretty much right now. And look at this. I think he's making a bunker somewhere.
Or just maybe looking. I don't know. Or maybe he's
looking
just
everywhere.
He is just looking. The SCV's still wondering, like, something is going on here. And I think the biggest tip-off is the 2 gases, totally occupied at this point. It's like, wait a second, chrono boosting out a Stalker, not even chrono boosting your like, he knows it's there. And look at the Reaper going right into the middle, and boom, guess what? Failed Proxy Stargate number 2, because this happened with the maximum splack in game number 1.
If he can get an Oracle out in time, if you chrono boosted, I'm not sure how the
is there a second Reaper coming?
It might be very close. It might be very close here.
But, well, we're going to have 2 Marines coming over. No.
Is he?
Yeah.
He was supply blocked. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's rough. And you know what? That third pylon had to go down quite a while ago. This is going to go down 104. He's going to get the chrono off.
Oh my God, the Stalker's going to come forward. This is actually,
he
needs to get the Oracle. It's so important. The Reaper, he has to be a hero. He has to take these shots, but focus on killing the pylon. The Oracle is very close to coming out. The Reaper, it is going to be pushed away. InControl, 20 HP.
Talking about taking a bad situation and making the best of it, that is what happened right there. Now the thing is that Illusion knows it's there, and he knows that the Oracle is on its way. Now the engineering bay is down, but there is no turret yet. But he has the Marines. The thing is, the Oracles, they can move, they can juke, they can get around here.
Look at that. 3 worker kills, and an Oracle can take on a few Marines. That's for sure. He's got to get that out of there. Hopefully he's not trapped. That Oracle might be trapped.
I think he's trapped. Yeah. I think he's trapped.
He's dead.
There it is. Now we have a second one on its way.
He's got a Nexus behind us.
There we go. There's the missile turret. He's going to be okay, I think, at this point.
So really fast Oracle, and he made a second one, which is really interesting, and he's making a third one. He's just going to take on the Marines. 1 versus 5, the Oracle.
Oh my gosh. You know how important that is right now? That is so important, because when the third one actually pops, there's not much to be able to defend it. He does have 1 reactor Rax, and he does have 3 Marines inside the bunker, but, well, actually with the missile turret, he should be okay. But that was still, I mean, his standing army is not great. It's 6 to 10 supply right now. There we go, third Oracle on its way out. Meanwhile, of course, InControl did throw down a Nexus behind that, getting a few more gateways as well, and a Robo. And here comes the Orbital from the top.
Not enough Marines. He can just take that. Okay, the turret is there, so the Oracle should be backing away. The Marine's going to try to get the kill, and InControl going to back that out. And notice he has stopped Oracle production. That's actually really important. You got to recognize when it's not going to work anymore. But just killing all those Marines early, that's actually really huge. As a Protoss player, when you kill pretty much every single attacking unit your opponent has on the map, imagine how comfortable you feel, right? You can start doing dramatic things as far as teching is concerned, and you can know you're not going to be threatened for a good amount of time. So InControl has to be very happy with how he started off this game. Now, as far as who's ahead, it's not incredibly clear. It's not like either player is taking a dramatic advantage. So this can still go either way.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like the Oracle opening was, I mean, you take a look at it, there was at least 450 gas spent on it just from the 3 Oracles, not including the Stargate build cost. And, you know, what did he get for it? 8 workers have been killed, and there were 6 before that attack happened. You know, I mean, I still don't know if that was the most amazing thing. Had he actually got in that first time and not focus on the Marines, you know, who knows? But we've got a small little force moving out here for Illusion, making his way over to the front. And let's take a look at what InControl has right here. 2 sentries at the top of the ramp, a 3rd sentry, and 1 stalker.
Just have a Mothership Core. Now, Photon Overcharge is going to be instrumental here. Unless Illusion can kind of take him off guard, get a couple kills. Where's the Mothership Core?
He needs to fire it up right now.
Coming forward, but it's okay. It does lay down the Photon Overcharge. The Marine coming forward. They're just running straight past into the main and stimming up, targeting the Mothership Core. It gets taken out. Illusion is just wanting to get probe kills at this point. That's what and he can get some unit kills as well. But what a crafty timing here from Illusion.
It worked out quite well for him, and knowing what his opponent actually invested into that Proxy Stargate gives him even more confidence to actually come in here. Now, here comes that Oracle, and is it finally going to save his butt? And it looks like it will. 1, 2, 3, 4 Marines and the Marauders drop. He holds it, and you know what? I think it was very smart to put the Photon Overcharge there at the natural, make sure that there's no way he's going to lose that, force the opponent to go up there, which of course he takes a lot of damage to do that.
Sure. I think Illusion's definitely going to be happy with how that went. If I can ask our observer, Ian Shikino, to put up the units lost tab really quick here. Of course, it's relatively even, 1,800 to 1,600. Now, before that little engagement happened at the natural expansion of InControl, Illusion was actually really far behind in that units lost tab by about 800 or 1,000. So Illusion kind of had to make that happen to try to equal that out a little bit. And something else I want to note, for you Protoss players at home or you StarCraft fans in general, when you open up that Stargate, you're going down a particular tech path, right? It's a lot of gas you're investing early into the Oracles as well, that you're not using to proceed with the Forges, that you're not using to proceed with the Robo, the Twilight, the typical Protoss tech paths. When you make that Stargate, you're not going to proceed into like carriers or something at this point in the game. That's just silly. You're kind of completely changing over. So because of that, InControl is going to be delayed a little bit further in his other tech pass, so it's kind of the situation where you kind of have to do damage with the Stargate. So again, that kind of explains where we are in the game state right now. Both these players, again, relatively even.
All right, so now we've got another small force moving out for Illusion. This time there's a Colossus in the mix for InControl. First force field's going to go down, and he does not want to fight that quite yet. No extended thermal lance. He's still waiting for a second Colossus, and he could actually use a few more units on the ground to give him a definitive victory there. And honestly, Illusion didn't want to fight into it as well.
He didn't have medevacs there during that.
And of course, with the Mothership Core out, he knew that there was a potential for another Photon Overcharge. But, you know, Illusion's got tabs here on what's happening at the 3rd, which is nothing at this moment, and he's got units right outside the base as well. Well, you know, he knows what his army's doing. He knows that InControl is kind of in his base. But where is he going from here? We've got another starport coming down.
Yeah. So he made 2 starports at once because he didn't have a starport. Once he approached his opponent's base and he saw the Colossus and he didn't even have a starport back home. So he immediately made 2, and that's so he can get enough Vikings out to deal with the Colossi and enough medevacs out to help heal his bio. Because if you only go down one path, you're going to be weak on one of them. So you kind of have to get both Stargates. But it gets a little bit tricky on 2 bases, so we'll have to see when these guys start taking a 3rd. And of course, Illusion has to be on top of where InControl goes from here. If InControl decides to do a High Templar switch, he needs to be prepared by bringing down a Ghost Academy, for example. He needs to keep on top of keeping enough Vikings in par with how many Colossi his opponent has.
Yeah, and I mean, he doesn't have an amazing medevac count either, so he can't go crazy with the Vikings, otherwise that bio is just going to get torn apart. Now the proxy pylon is seen being put down there by that Marine. He's just going to go ahead and get out of there, but that is an indication that, okay, the Protoss player's ready to expand. Now what's nice about this is even though that pylon goes down, it actually looks like the real 3rd is where we're going to see that, or I guess the 3rd just to the west of that main. But at what, 1-1 now, I noticed that 2-2 didn't start immediately afterwards.
Yeah, Illusion's slightly ahead in the upgrades.
Yeah.
Not a dramatic deal. I mean, there's Chrono Boost available for the Protoss, so we can even that up a little bit. And we're talking about like a 10-second timing window that Illusion might be able to take advantage of, which which is doable in StarCraft 2, but then you kind of have to identify, okay, when is my opponent's upgrades going to finish? Sometimes players will try to hit an attack right when their 2-2 finishes, so you can hit any timing that is there.
Right.
So we might see Illusion try to do that, and now we're seeing that High Templar Archives halfway complete from InControl, so we're going to have to see when Illusion can identify that, because again, that's one of those so important timing for the TVP matchup.
Now we have a lot of bio here for Illusion, starting to mix in quite a bit here, or excuse me, the Vikings as well as the Hellbats, which I've been liking that versus, versus Protoss as a Terran, because
versus
it can really,
any race.
well, I mean versus any race, but it's one of those things where it's like, Terran uses them really effectively versus really effectively in TVT, and then all of a sudden when you see just how quickly they melt Zealots, especially Zealots with charge as they run towards you, Terran players are realizing that sometimes they can melt an entire Zealot line before the Colossus even get in,
it's tricky.
The range.
Like,
it's crazy.
As crazy as it sounds, sometimes Protoss don't want charge, because that means your Zealots get closer to the Hellbats in a faster amount of time, then they die.
And the rest of the army aren't there really to help out.
So in StarCraft 2, you want your damage dealers, right? The High Templars, the Colossi, those are the guys you want to keep alive. The Zealots, they're great. Don't tell them I said this, but they're not really that important in the battle as far as damage dealing is concerned. They're there to tank that damage and let those Colossi get that splash damage done. So it's a weird sense where InControl might be kind of holding the Zealots back a little bit, let them take some of that damage, but you don't want to get them close to the Hellbats. But once the Hellbats are done, once they're dead, that's when you send the charge outs in and try to get that damage done.
Absolutely. Now he's moving forward. There's only about 5 Vikings right here, but they're getting into a position. There's 6. Is Storm done yet? It is almost done. It just finished. High Templar do.
He has 4.
One energy. There's a
Storm
nice
there from InControl. Illusion gonna back up. No Ghost in this composition, and he's just realizing, oh gosh, I need to run as fast as I can. I cannot deal with Storm. Another great Storm there from InControl, and Illusion is on the run. InControl is gonna try to capitalize on this timing that he has, but Illusion kiting back very effectively.
Yeah, and actually, I believe that every single Hellbat was actually target fired in that chase by InControl, which of course saved him quite a few of these Zealots. But Illusion, he's got an army already waiting back home. He's still got a few more Vikings out, and he's actually got plenty to be able to deal with just 3 Colossus here. So now he's definitely got to be focused on, dodging a lot of storms with 4 High Templar. Ghosts are out. That's going to make it an even more interesting battle. We've still got a few more Vikings, and he might move forward and go in for a kill here, but...
Oh, did he just start Blink? Oh, he doesn't have Blink. Blink would be really good to have right now, so... when the Vikings can come forward, you can kind of get your Stalkers in a position. That's the Stalker's job in this battle. Take care of the Vikings so the Colossus can stay alive. High Templar! What are you doing?
Oh, no. Oh, that Ghost... The Marauder's going to stem. They're going to get him. He's doing at least 2, I think. He might even just re-stem. Going for another one, and we are going to see... No, that one stayed alive. So 1 High Templar down.
2 very brave Marauders, though. My heart goes out to them. Going after those High Templar, trying to take on the whole Protoss army.
And all the Marines are like, just stem to your red. You have a ton of hit
points.
You guys got
this. You got this. All right, here we go. Big engagement about to happen. InControl coming forward. Leading with the Stalkers, trying to target fire those Vikings. Very important. Keeping the High Templar in the back. You want to dodge those EMPs from the Ghost. Getting a nice concave here. Now sending in the Zealots. The Colossus doing a lot of damage. The High Templar coming up in the back. Illusion is going to be looking for those, but all the Ghosts are gone. The Colossus took care of them. So InControl coming forward with the High Templars, and there's no Ghosts here for the Storm. Great Storms there from InControl, but does he have enough?
No, I think those were remarkable splits by Illusion. It's going to come down to the nitty-gritty here. You know what? Frankly, I think that there was a storm there that went on the Vikings that didn't need to. The Colossus were gone at that point. They were just kind of like units floating there. But a warping of Zealots means that these very, very low health bio units are just going to get ripped apart. There's no Hellbats here to stop them. And although the medevacs are healing up, right, a few units do go down. Still a lot of units trickling out. In fact, this rally heading on up to the 3rd with a few Marines and some Ghosts. Still got to be careful. He's actually, he'll go ahead and get all of his forces together. But right now, the Army supply, 62 to 26 for InControl. He lost an enormous amount there.
Now, High Templars can get rid of that in an instant. That's very important to note. But as far as the High Templar count, there's none. InControl made 4 High Templar there, and ideally you keep them alive, but I think he was scared about a counter-aggression, so he made them all 4 High Templar into Archons. But it looks like he just added on 2 more High Templar. So, people who are scared about seeing an army tab like that from the Protoss point of view,
right?
They're kind of meant to have the low supply because, again, it's all about how much damage you can do with those expensive units, the Colossi, the High Templar. So as long as InControl's High Templar and Colossi control are good, he can be great. But again, Illusion's control has been phenomenal so far, especially with those ghosts and with the concaves and stuff like that. So it's still going to be very tough here for InControl in this next engagement.
And InControl almost moving out the opposite side of the map as Illusion. Illusion's going to stim and make a move for this third base. We've got a Warped of Zealots in the back, and he's going to come in, but the ghosts are there. He's got to be careful. EMPs will wreck this army, and there it is. EMPs on the front. Everything but that Archon gets hit. There's the blink forward. And is he going to be able to stop this force? Looks like the Zealots from the back are going to do a heck of a lot of good. And he does manage to get the job done. Oh, he doesn't have detection.
Where's your observer? Where is your observer in control? He does not have one on the field. He needs to remake that guy, or that's going to be very annoying. Because once Cloak gets in effect from the Terran player, a lot of Terrans will try to scan, take care of observers, and then what's to see your ghosts? And that's when the ghosts go and do their EMPs onto the High Templars, onto the Charge Lots, onto the entire Protoss army. And then it becomes obviously really difficult for a Protoss to have a good engagement. So InControl really needs to focus on getting some observers out, because I bet you Illusion identified that his opponent didn't have detection there, and he's going to look to take advantage.
Right, and he's moving out with another force yet again. He's got to be careful. He continues to add Vikings, knowing that there's still at least 1 or 2 Colossus out here on the field. There's the charge forward, and more EMPs go down, hitting all the Archons. The Archons melt. The Colossus falls. All that is left are these Stalkers. They blink away, but there's just too much. 166 supply to 75, and no Warpins are going to be able to defend from this, the third most certainly fall. There it is, GG!
Illusion takes game number 1, a pretty back and forth, a pretty wonky game too. Not every day do you see the Proxy Stargate play, but after that point, you know, they were relatively even. You know, after that early game, going into the mid game, and it all came down to those engagements. The one engagement I really want to talk about was that first major one, kind of at the bottom, in between the natural and third of Illusion, where InControl he was coming forward and his High Templars are in the back. Now that's great. When your High Templars are in the back, that's perfect, because you don't want them to get EMP'd. But the problem with that engagement is the High Templars were a little bit too far back. So like, they never really got into the battle until the rest of the army had already died. The rest of the army was gone. Then the High Templars come forward, they see a bunch of bio, but at that point, there's just too much. As long as Illusion splits a little bit well, gets a nice concave, there's nothing much that InControl can do, and I think that was kind of the change.
I totally agree. I mean, the Vikings came forward, they focused on the Colossus, and you know, had he had the Colossus firing on the bio along with the Storms, I mean, come on, that would have been totally different. But with those High Templar too far back, exactly right. Like the Storms, I'm pretty sure he had queued.
Yeah.
Then they hit the Vikings. Fortunately, the Vikings, they weren't the problem since all the Colossus were gone. Either way, you know, interesting start, seeing InControl go for that Proxy Stargate, but held off nicely by Illusion. Had that moment where it looked like he wasn't going to have enough Marines. Got that missile turret up just at the right time. Anyway, game 2 is going to be on Akalon Waste, but we're going to take a very quick break before we